Hello and welcome. Very good afternoon to all of you. You're watching The Big Story. I'm Afrida Rehman Ali. We begin with updates from Bihar. In fact, we are tracking the first day of voting very closely, getting you all the ground inputs. My colleagues are there in Bihar tracking all the inputs for us. Just a few hours to go now before voting closes, and up till 1 p.m. the voter turnout has been around 33%. Few hours to go now before the polling closes. Remember, this is the first phase of polling in a three-phase election where 71 constituencies are polling today across 16 districts of Bihar. This is the first assembly election in India that is being held in the middle of a pandemic. So that is important. But the political slugfest has only escalated. The canvassing for votes for the second phase has already started, with all the political heavyweights down on ground today, holding rallies and campaigns across various districts. In the latest, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has begun his campaign for phase 2 of polls, taking a jibe at RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav, calling him Yuvraj of the Jungle Raj. JDU has reiterated its flop star jibe against Chirag Paswan and also has alleged that Nitish Kumar is actually planning to join the RJD after the elections. That is LJP's claim now, to add to all the various jibes and barbs that have been traded against each other. RJD, LJP and Congress have targeted Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over the Munger incident, and all of them are making references to the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy. I'm going across to my colleague Ayushman first, who is in Jamui. This is an important constituency being watched very closely. Ayushman, first of all, give us some details why Jamui is significant. As we know, there's a woman candidate and a very accomplished one at that. Give us more details of the battle in Jamui in particular, and in general, the mood of the moment, even as voting will draw to a close very shortly.
Yes, Frida, in fact, right now, where the booth where I'm standing right now, you can see behind me the polling booth holds a rather silent look. 50% of the polling has been conducted in this booth. The brisk voting that we witnessed in the first half took a pace in around 11 to 1, and then the participation has come down. The total voting percentage in Jamui is 31.37%. The polling officials here came and informed us that in this particular polling booth where we are standing right now, the polling has been till 50%, half of the voter turnout this polling booth has seen. But apart from that, Frida, if you see the main candidate, the RJD candidate is one who has been from the political heavyweight Jaiprakash Narayan's brother, and the other one is Shreyasi Singh, who is from BJP. And if you see the scenario right now, the vote, the majority of youth as well as women and also a few of the old voters we spoke to said that caste is something that they definitely focus upon, but there is something called unemployment, youth, and the continuous infrastructure problem that they have been forcing. That is their focus in this elections, and that is something you normally don't find in Bihar elections. We are still a bit surprised as to why what we found during our coverage and reportage, that people were definitely more anxious about voting, but that does not get reflected. Merely 31% polling till 1 p.m. shows that the expected number of people didn't come out to vote. But for now, the place where I am standing right now is having 50% of vote, but it is the booth it is the area which is a bit of Naxal affected area, and the polling will conclude here by 4. So more 1 hour left, Frida. But the CEO of Bihar we spoke to, he said that by 5 p.m. all those who can come, they can vote. But after that, the polling will stop here, and it is expected that by 5 p.m. This polling booth in particular, and also in other polling booths in Jamui and also the Naxal affected belt, polling will stop. Afrida, back to you.
Absolutely. So just 2 hours to go, then 5 p.m. is when the voting will close. Right up to now, the voting percentage is around 31.65 at 1 p.m. Thanks, Ayushman, for joining us. We have some other ground reports that my colleagues have sent us. Mira now spoke to voters in Gaya about the key issues that they have in mind during voting. Development has topped the agenda, and also issues related to education and healthcare dominate the voters' sentiment. And these are issues that are taking center stage, at least in Gaya, where my colleague Santiago Rai is tracking the voters' mind.
मुद्दे क्या क्या दिमाग में है जब आप वोट डाल रहे हैं?
दिमाग में ये है 35 साल से राज कर करके गया का गांधी मैदान का पार्क नहीं बना, गांधी मैदान फील्ड नहीं बना, कुछ भी नहीं विकास हुआ। क्या विकास के नाम पर आदमी वोट डालता है, कोई फायदा नहीं है। फायदा आदमी को क्या होना चाहिए, कम से कम एक पार्क होना चाहिए, कम से कम गांधी मैदान स्टेडियम बनना चाहिए, कुछ भी नहीं है।
विकास नहीं है,
विकास नाम का कोई
चीज नहीं है।
ना कहीं पर पार्क है, कुछ भी नहीं है। अरे आदमी को कम से कम घूमने का एक पार्क होता है, कहीं नहीं है।
अच्छा, बाकी चीजें जो कही जा रही हैं कि भाई शराबबंदी हो चुकी है और खास करके महिलाओं जी
मिल रही है सर, गली गली में शराब मिल रही है।
करके कितना रोड पर सड़कों पे गिरा पड़ा है, बराबर रोज एक शिकायत मिलता है।
जी जी सर, आप कुछ कह रहे हैं?
शराब के मामला में नंबर 1 है गया, बिहार अपना गया टाउन नंबर 1
मिलने के मामले में या नहीं मिलने के?
नहीं, मिलने के मामले में आप घर पे कॉल कीजिएगा, घर पे पहुंचावेगा।
होम डिलीवरी हो रही है।
होम डिलीवरी एकदम फुल। सरकार में जो घुसता है सब चोरे चोर है, कोई ऐसा नहीं है जो चोर नहीं है, मगर कोई हीरा चोर है, कोई खीरा चोर है, चोर तो सब है।
हम अभी बिहार में पढ़े हैं, सारा कुछ किया, पढ़ाई के लिए हमें बाहर जाना पड़ता है, हेल्थ ही नहीं है, मम्मी की तबीयत खराब रहती है, हमें दिल्ली एम्स जाना पड़ता है, मैक्स जाना पड़ता है, हमें वेदांता जाना पड़ता है। बिहार में ना हेल्थ है, ना एजुकेशन है, कुछ भी नहीं है, ना जॉब्स है।
किसी को कुछ पैसा भी मिला, लोग खाने के लिए मर गए हैं, पानी नहीं मिल रहा, ट्रेन चल रही, खाने का कुछ मुहैया नहीं है।
They told us that how the whole development model is more of a show off for them, and that's exactly something which they are going to keep in mind while voting, is what they have told us right now.
Health, education and jobs. Voters in Gaya are hankering for these things. These are the basic that any citizen could ask for. Let me in fact also now play out a report that Ayushman Kumar has sent us from the voters in Jamui in Bihar. Listen into the sentiments of the youth in Jamui.
EWS मिल गया, हम बना लिए, हमको सरकार 10% दे दी, लेकिन आप वैकेंसी नहीं निकाल रहे हैं। EWS किसके लिए दिए? वैकेंसी के लिए, नौकरी के लिए ना। तो नौकरी बहाली नहीं निकालिएगा तो EWS का कहाँ काम आएगा मेरा?
बहाली नहीं निकल रहा सर, बहाली तो अभी भी दरोगा की बहाली निकली हुई है, अभी भी बिहार पुलिस।
सर दरोगा की बहाली कब की निकली उसको पूछ सुनिए सर, दरोगा की बहाली कब की निकली? अब वैकेंसी की बात करें, सुन लीजिए, जो रेलवे की वैकेंसी जो आई है और NTPC की कब आई है अभी तक? अब जब
सरकार का मुद्दा है सर, ये सर विधानसभा का
चुनाव तो विधानसभा का बोले थे सर। आपको SSC का, आपको 2014 का SSC याद होगा सर? SSC का चुनाव जो याद होगा 2014 का, पूछिए इनसे कि 2014 कहाँ पर एग्जाम हो गया?
जैसे 1 करोड़ का टेंडर है तो 50 लाख तो बच के पीछे में। अच्छा, DM SP साला फलना चिन्ना ढंग समय पड़ जाता है, वो तो होबे करता है। अच्छा,
हम रोजगार की बात पर थे।
आज है ही नहीं, रोजगार सर नहीं है, ढकोसला मत की जुमलेबाजी हो रहा है आज के डेट में। जुमलेबाजी रोजगार के नाम पे सरकार बेमस है।
15 साल पहले, अभी से 15 साल पहले बिहार का साक्षरता दर देखिए और अभी देखिए। अब 100% चाहिएगा कि एकदम 2-4-5 साल में, 10 साल में पूरा एकदम 100% केरला की तरह हो जाए।
ठीक है, साक्षरता कितना हो जाए? सबसे पहला जो ये आरक्षण सिस्टम है, जनरल कास्ट में लीजिए, हम लोग जनरल कास्ट में, ठीक है, हम लोग अब 80% लाने के बाद भी आपको नौकरी नहीं होगा।
14 का वैकेंसी सर अभी तक पूरा नहीं हुआ, ये बताइए कितना बड़ा धांधली है। हाँ, तैयारी कर रहे हैं। 2014 का वैकेंसी है, एक बार एग्जाम लिया, उसमें इतना क्वेश्चन आउट हुआ, नहीं कि उसको कैंसिल करना पड़ा, फिर दोबारा एग्जाम लिया।
ये कह रहे हैं कि सरकार लोन देती है, लोन लेना कितना आसान है बिहार में?
लोन लेना आसान, लेकिन उससे फायदा क्या? नुकसान खुद का तो उसको चुकाना पड़ेगा। थोड़ी ऐसा है कि ऐसा
मेहनत करवे न कीजिए तो कमाइएगा। आपको हम 10-50 हजार दे देंगे, अब पैसा को एकदम झालमुड़ी बना के खा जाइएगा। इन्वेस्ट नहीं कीजिए तो कहाँ से कमाइएगा?
जमुई में आप देख लीजिए, उच्च शिक्षा की व्यवस्था है ही नहीं।
बिहार की बात अगर जमुई तो खैर,
और बिहार में सीना चौड़ा करके कोई पूर्व की सरकार या वर्तमान सरकार नहीं कह सकती हमारे यहाँ अच्छा यूनिवर्सिटी। जो पहले थे नालंदा, उसकी भी स्थिति आपको अच्छे से पता है सर। तो जहाँ शिक्षा की व्यवस्था ऐसी होगी तो रोजगार का तो।
अस्पतालों क्या हाल है?
अस्पतालों का
युवाओं के लिए अस्पताल और विद्यालय मुद्दा है आपके लिए?
बिल्कुल मुद्दा है सर। यहाँ पे आप कुछ भी हो जाता है तो जमुई व्यवस्था ही नहीं है सर।
आपको लगता है कि शराबबंदी करके सरकार ने एक सही कदम उठाया या फिर और स्ट्रिक्टर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन होना चाहिए?
सर, वो कदम अच्छा हो सकता है, लेकिन वो धरातल पर उन्होंने उतार नहीं पाए। वो धरातल पे जिस तरह से उतरना चाहिए वो नहीं उतार पाए।
प्रशासन यहाँ के अगर सत्ताधारी लोग अगर चाह लेंगे, पुलिस सत्ताधारी जैसा ही चाहेंगे वैसा ही काम होगा। पुलिस का हमारा कोई दोष नहीं, पुलिस का कोई दोष नहीं है, या सत्ताधारी का ही।
For now, the youth want the discussions on job security, education and hospitals and basic infrastructure improvement, which is sadly we haven't seen that much of coming from the political parties. But you saw the youth debating on this. They had different versions, and they were trying to talk it out. And definitely the youth are demanding that the job vacancies in Bihar should come out, because it has been years that they've been preparing, they've been working out, and nothing has been happening on ground actually.
Well, joining me now on the broadcast is Mr. Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay, senior journalist and author. Welcome to Mirror Now, Mr. Mukhopadhyay. Thanks for joining us, and good to have you for this discussion on the current scenario in Bihar. You would have heard the voices that we are playing out. Our reporters are tracking the voter sentiment since morning, and it seems that people of Bihar are asking for something which is bare minimum for any citizen, isn't it? Education, health, jobs. These are the things that it seems are playing up in the voters' mind. But what I want to ask you is that, is this an election that is being fought on these issues, or will the caste affiliation still rule the roost? Will the youth be able to break away from the shackles of those traditional vote banks? What are the factors, according to you, playing out this time?
You know, the first thing is that the first phase today, which is voting today, is actually the smallest in terms of the entire state. You know, the other two phases have slightly more number of seats, you know. So you can say that we have heard, you know, just the first phase of the entire election campaign. And I'm sure that as the demographic character of Bihar also changes, you know, as the phases go from lower Bihar to, you know, from the north towards northeast, then it's also possible that the poll narrative and what the leaders are focusing on may also change, and that may change, you know, through the course of the campaign. But what it appears so far is that it appears to be an election which is being fought mainly on local issues, on economic issues, on issues of performance of the Nitish Kumar government in the last few years, his personal performance as a chief minister. I see this election possibly eventually becoming into a referendum on Nitish Kumar, that whether people want him or they do not want him. Mr. Modi has, you know, campaigned quite effectively in Bihar so far. He's also campaigning today. I think just as we speak, he's speaking in Patna, or maybe he just about come to an end.
Yes.
But, you know, what we are seeing is that Mr. Modi, through this corona crisis, has given this slogan called "Be vocal about local." So I do not know whether it has clicked on the manner in which he wanted it. But definitely, as far as the electorate in Bihar is concerned, it appears that they are being vocal about very local issues. And that is that what will we do with only roads and electricity? After all, we have a stomach to fill. And I think the economic crisis which is there is possibly going to become the largest issue. It is quite possible that caste may eventually recede, though these are still very early days. We have a lot of campaign.
Yes, interestingly, you said, Mr. Mukhopadhyay, that this is looking like more like a referendum on Nitish Kumar, and I would like to draw your attention to the recent developments. In fact, you're a very close observer of PM Modi, and in today's rallies, he has brought out, of course, listed all the developmental schemes that was done for Bihar, but he has also thrown in Ram Mandir construction. The other issue regarding Nitish Kumar is that even within the NDA, the smaller party seems to have lost confidence. If you listen into Jiten Ram Manjhi, who spoke today, said that, well, you know, I am compelled to choose the lesser evil. So somewhere it seems that, you know, the ground is slipping from under Nitish Kumar's feet in that sense. But will the Prime Minister's popularity be able to salvage some of it for him?
It is about 2.5 decades that the BJP and the JDU, either in its present form or in the previous Samta Party avatar, this alliance has survived, but I have never seen these two parties being so distant as we are seeing in this particular election. And it is not just these two parties, I think, as you rightly mentioned, that even the smaller parties are fairly distant because they do not want the anti-incumbent sentiment which is there against Nitish Kumar to stick to any of the alliance partners. And I do not think that this is really a very good sign for Mr. Nitish Kumar. He would definitely be a very worried man. As far as Mr. Modi's speeches are concerned, you know, if you look at the first set of speeches which he made a few days ago during the first day when he campaigned, he largely focused on national issues, talked about what is happening in Ladakh, what is the sacrifice of Bihar soldiers, various other things that if you elect an opposition, if you do not vote for us, then the people are going to bring back Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. Now that obviously not worked. So while he does not want to abandon the national issues, he definitely is going to be talking about a lot of what Nitish Kumar and what this government has done. As far as Ram Mandir is concerned, I think we'll have to understand that in the first phase, the percentage of Muslims is possibly the least in terms of the other two phases. The number of Muslims keeps on increasing between the second phase, and it's the highest in the third phase. So I expect a lot of communal rhetoric, a lot of Hindutva rhetoric as the campaign progresses. I think today what we are seeing, a direct reference to Ram Mandir. In hindsight, we'll say that this is the beginning when once again the Kabristan kind of a narrative starts surfacing in Bihar.
So the composition of the demography is very important, in each of the phases, like you pointed out. I also want to ask you, Mr. Mukhopadhyay, the fact that, some of the conventional calculations have been thrown into a quandary with the recent developments, say, for instance, with the exit of LJP from the NDA. Now the LJP factor becomes a major spoiler for the JDU, for instance. Then the other, of course, the narrative picking up about how Nitish Kumar was offloaded from the BJP campaign, from the posters at least. So all of that has kind of confused the calculations of many of the psephologists and pollsters. Where do you stand on this in terms of the factors that could act as major spoilers and throw calculations out of gear?
I have always believed that elections are best and most accurately calculated or analyzed after the verdict is out. I've always maintained that as a lot of what is analyzed or what is assessed prior to elections, is a lot of guesswork goes in depending on the kind of benchmark that was had. Both in 2015 and in 2020, what we are seeing, the absence of a benchmark, because it's a new alliance. If we go back and look at 2015 verdict and say for the 71 seats which are going to polls today, if you try to say that which party had won how many seats, it's absolutely inconsequential today, because at that time you had different alliances. Same thing was the case in 2015. So just the way that nobody was able to assess the extent of sweep in 2014 by the JDU and the RJD and the Congress, of course, the Mahagathbandhan of that time, it is also going to be very difficult at this stage. I would rather wait to see either a bit more of trends or visible evidence from the ground to be able to hazard any kind of guess as to which way this election is going.
Right, so the unpredictability factor is there, which is what makes it all the more fascinating. But one last question to you in terms of, again, like I said, why the calculations are so difficult. Even if you go by the rhetoric, the RJD, the Congress and the LJP are all training their guns against Nitish Kumar over the Munger incident. Now that takes away the sheen from Nitish's whole narrative about, the jungle raj of the RJD rule, and, he was trying to hitch onto that, which again, with an incident of this nature happening right bang in the middle of the voting, how do you perceive that? Will that change things around in any way, and will that bolster the opposition?
Well, I think, it's another screw which is being, tightened on the Nitish Kumar narrative, because saying that he cannot even control a thing like a regular festival, and that too, mind you, that this is a festival of the Hindus, this is not a festival of the minorities. So, it also shows that the shift of the template, because, previously you would find that the BJP and the JDU would always get an opportunity that this is the entire campaign or the entire theory of the opponents of the BJP being appeasers of minority has not worked, whereas the opposition is saying that you could not even manage the emotion of during a Durga Puja. So I think, it is, inefficient government has also come into play at this particular point. All
right, the inefficiency are palpable. What is also palpable, Mr. Mukhopadhyay, is the anti-incumbency, where when voters talk about, like you just heard our reporters bringing in those ground reports, we talk about their dissatisfaction with the lack of development and progress in certain key areas like health, education, infrastructure and jobs. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Mr. Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay, and for giving us your perspectives on the current election.
Thank you.